So, oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts running through my head, and they've just been sparked by something that happened last night and various things that I'm going through at the moment. So last night, a friend of mine, well, she sent me a message, and it said that it's not even funny. I don't even know why I'm laughing. It was a serious message. She said, "Is £1,000 a reasonable quote for recording 3 songs? What do you think?" Because that's a quote that she's had from one particular studio, one person in one studio. £1,000, 3 songs. I got this message, and it didn't even compute. I was like, God, I can't answer yes or no or anything in between, because that entire question is almost, it's not even relevant in a way. Now, it's kind of the first thing that a lot of people ask when they go to buy stuff, and I really believe this is completely backwards to what people should be asking themselves. They shouldn't be asking like, oh, how much does this cost? Who cares what something costs? The real question you should be asking is, do I need this in my life? Is this the right thing for me in my life? That is the question you need to ask yourself. And if the answer is yes, then find a way. And if this whole thing, people get so crazy about money, like literally like crazy. I heard on the radio the other day, I think it was like, I don't know, I'm listening to a lot of commercial radio at the moment. It might have been Radio 1, or it might have been Capital FM or Pulse FM or something like that. But anyway, that doesn't even matter. What matters is they said something about the number one reason that friends fall out with each other and become not friends anymore is money. Generally, I think the most common thing is one person borrows money and doesn't pay it back. Or the other thing would be, I guess, if you're, I don't know, it's something involving money. People get very upset and they feel shortchanged, like literally shortchanged. Money's such a funny, sensitive thing, and there's a lot of sort of emotion and like psychological baggage that comes with it. So I know that when I say this in this vlog post, when I say money is not the question you should be asking, like 1,000,001 of you are going to be like, OMG, of course, in a perfect world, like you wouldn't have to think about it. But the reality is, like the practical thing is blah, 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 blah. There are going to be like millions of sort of protests about why it's the important thing. But believe me, and I am telling you this. I am LeeSun Truth Teller, and I am telling you this with love. If you focus on the cost, then you're not going to be able to make good decisions in your life. You're not going to be able to choose what's right for you. You're not going to even be able to see what's right for you. You're going to end up getting things for the wrong reasons and leaving things for the wrong reasons. You're going to leave things alone that are right for you because you say they're expensive. You're going to get things that are wrong for you because they're cheap. That's crazy. That is literally crazy. So my beautiful friend, bless her, I love her so much. She sent me this message, is £1,000 reasonable? And I was just like, let's chat about this sometime, and I can share with you what has and hasn't worked for me in the recording process, in my work. Because it has nothing to do with the money. The thing to do is go out, look for what is right, and do it. It brings to mind another thing. Like, I've heard Tony Robbins say this. I'm sure he says a lot of really spot on, just sensible, powerful things. And certain things, they really just hook me. And he says in one of his videos on YouTube, go watch a bunch of them, they're really good. But anyway, he says in one of them that most people are pursuing in the future things that they can have in the present. And this really resonates with me because for years and years and years, I had this weird idea of what my dream life was, but I took no action to actually move towards it. Like in my head, my dream life was always in the future. It was like me, I don't know, maybe with like a massive studio in LA, huge house on a bluff overlooking the sea, huge spaces with piano workspaces. Like when I dream, it's always about like all the space and resources as well, space and time, like time to just sit, read stuff, write stuff, think about stuff, be inspired, instruments. That was my dream, and I kind of thought, yeah, that's what's going to happen for me. But that was so far off of what was actually going on in my life that there was this massive disconnect. And the reality was that the stuff that I really wanted that was inside that dream, it wasn't about having a big room and a concert grand piano and a house overlooking the sea. Although, you know, that stuff would be nice too. But if I really stripped everything away and boiled it down to the stuff that I really, really wanted in my life, it was about what I was doing from day to day. And the feeling, that sort of spaciousness and access to work and time to work, the feeling that gives me, that was what I wanted. I wanted that feeling. It wasn't about the space and whatever, but it just kind of linked quite readily to those sorts of images. And when I figured this out, that the thing that I really, really yearned for was space to create and to make music and to produce stuff that I was passionate about, messages, you know, like this vlog actually, even stuff like this, that was what I was really yearning for. And that was stuff that I could have on any given day. On any given day, I could make time to create. And then kind of digging a bit deeper into that, I realized, so I kind of started doing that. I started making time every day, really protecting my time so that every day I would have the headspace. I would know that it was important for me, that I would make the time to create. I just wrote on my wall, I wrote, make creative time. And this was so important for me. And it was when I was exploring that I realized I really wanted beautiful recordings of my songs, beautiful, powerful, accessible, immediate. You know, there are loads of things around that. And so I knew I had to record. And then I started looking around recording studios. And of course, practical things come into the picture. I live in Leeds in England, so I didn't drive down to see studios in Brighton because I wasn't going to be wanting to drive all the way down there every time I wanted to record a song, or not even as far as London. You know, I looked around Leeds. So a couple of ideas became really, really important for me. One was make creative time. The other was work with what you've got. Whatever is here in the now is stuff that can be worked with to create the life that you want right now. And that is the truth. That's the profound truth that I came to realize. And that's why it resonated so deeply when I heard Tony say, you know, what most people are pursuing things in the future that they want right now. And I realized that actually, if you can't create and experience the things that you want right now, right here, it's never gonna happen. That sounds really harsh, but it's just that you create a relationship between yourself and what you kind of envision as your dream life. And if you create this relationship where it's always in the future, it's always contingent on these unattainable things or whatever, then that's how it's always going to be. Like, how would that change? That's the relationship you've created. So anyway, these days, like, I still have, I still have a lot of challenges. Like, I'm in a fair bit of debt. Although I run an eBay shop, and that keeps things ticking over as well. And so I've got sort of a lot of cash flow, and I never ever worry about what I'm spending my money on. But I do deeply consider what is right for me, what adds value to my life, who I want to be, how I want to live from day to day. So my whole thing with the recording process, I just like went around to see different studios, and I tried them out. Like, I tried a session here, a session there, a session over there, etc. And I did that until I found one that felt right. And I was like, yeah, I want to explore this one a bit more. And I was going around to these places mainly with the guitarist I now work with, Toby Noble, who is amazing as well. I'll put his link down below as well. But anyway, so Toby and I were going, recording my songs. We did a few places, and very quickly found one, the one that I'm working at now, that I really loved. Like, I liked so much about it. It really worked for me. And so ever since then, so that was about a year ago, and ever since then I've been booking session times whenever I can and going in and not requiring anything of myself, but to simply have a space where I can create and play and discover what my best work is, discover what it is I can produce. Yeah, and so it's all, and all of that did cost money. I have to pay for every session. I pay Toby for every session as well. Not as much as he deserves, really. He's, but we have this arrangement. It works for us. Yeah, I think, once my music's out, once I'm earning lots of money from it, I'll pay musicians really well. I love paying people well. But anyway, I digress. At the moment, I'm working with what I've got. I found a place where I like working, and I raise the funds to go make music there. I use resources, whatever resources I have access to, and when I need more, then I find the money for it. And that's it. That's how it works. I don't pressure myself to come up with a budget or to say what has to be done when, or how much it has to cost, or where the money has to come up with. I'm just doing each day what I love doing. And I have to say that I experience, ever since I started doing this, I've experienced just, it's taken life to a different level, where I have so many moments when I'll just be driving down the street or writing a song or in the studio, and I will just feel this like amazing joy at what I'm doing, at my life, at just being in flow, doing what I love doing. I will just feel such a joy about where I'm at in my life right now. And that's not to say, that I don't get down or that I don't find things difficult, because that happens all the time as well. But generally speaking, life is kind of amazing. I feel very, very lucky and grateful for a lot of things in my life. That's it. That's the end of it. So my thing is, I guess the thing I would challenge you to do is maybe, I don't know, it's the challenge is when you feel yourself go rah and like jump to defend your position. If you're feeling that ever when someone brings something up, there is something in that needs attention, because the fact is, if you really are secure, if you're in a really secure place with your values, your beliefs, the things that are there, then generally you don't jump to defend in that way. So if someone says, oh, don't worry about the money, and like you get really angry and you're like, of course you have to worry about the money. Like that's just reality. If that is your response, that needs some looking into. And maybe those are the responses, the most vehement, angry, defensive type responses. Maybe those are the ones that perhaps if you were to let go a little bit of those responses, you might discover a new kind of freedom for you and your life in an avenue that you were too afraid to look at before, maybe. Bless you.